Hi, welcome to Ascend. I'm here to give you a quick overview of who we are and what we do. Ascend is a single platform for data teams to ingest, transform, orchestrate, and observe and optimize their data pipelines. Ascend is unique because we have this intelligence core that collects unified metadata on all of this activity, from changes in code to changes in data itself. All of that metadata with user permission is fed to integrated AI agents that can help intelligently do things like build new components for pipelines or suggest data quality tests, monitor data pipelines, and do some really smart optimizations because it understands the metadata the same way that you would understand the metadata about your data pipelines. That metadata also helps our data-aware automation engine do some really intelligent optimization underneath the hood that you don't necessarily see within the platform itself. The system understands when data has changed or when code has changed such that it would impact the data that's sitting in your system. And so Ascend only reprocesses data that needs to be reprocessed based on changes to either the code or the data itself. Everything else stays as is, which saves you time and money on your data processing. So enough of the high-level overview. Let's get into the platform itself. Within the platform, you have developer workspaces and automated deployments. Workspaces are where developers build and develop their data pipelines, and deployments are where those are deployed to run in production. Let's look at our workspace. Welcome to an Ascend workspace. In this workspace, you have everything you need to build and develop your data pipelines in one spot. At the high level, you'll see I have my own workspace. Everyone in the platform will have their own workspace that operates off of a specific Git branch. This Git system integrates directly with your Git system, whether it's GitHub or Bitbucket, wherever your Git or CI/CD processes live, Ascend integrates with that. And all of the code that lives here lives in this repository. So you have full access to your repository and everything you would need within that repository. Right now, we're looking at an end-to-end data pipeline in Ascend. The blue are ingestion components. Here, we're taking data from various different sources and putting it into BigQuery. And then we're running a bunch of different transformations on this with SQL and Python in the teal components. And then in the pink, these are generic tasks or tests that we want to run on the pipeline. So any arbitrary code that you'd want to run within this flow or tests that you'd want to run for data quality, you can add those as well to your data pipelines. This is an example of a specific component within this flow. This is specifically this Ascenders component. You can see I have my code here, but I also have a view of the Git log so I can see any changes that have been made to this file over time. I have a complete history of runs within my workspace, and I can also access the records within this table or the schema and the test results for all of these data quality tests that have occurred within this workspace. Within the workspace, I can also access Otto. Otto is our handy AI agent, and I can ask Otto for help with anything that I want, help building, help monitoring. But for this specific example, I'll ask Otto, hey, Otto, can you help me figure out what data quality tests I should run on this component? What Otto's going to do is Otto's going to think about it. Otto has access to the same metadata that I have. And so Otto can look at the underlying data in the table and the schema and suggest all of these data quality tests based on his understanding, the same understanding I would have of this component. From there, I can either copy this and put it into my test, or I can say, hey, Otto, can you update this for me? Otto will think about it for a second. And draft those changes directly in my file. I can choose to accept those and save them, or I can reject them. For now, I'll just reject since I'm not quite ready. Now let's talk about what it looks like when you want to merge this into production. From here, I can open source control and I can merge my branch into a deployment. Typically you do your development and deployment, but these are all based on any branch protections that you set up. Let's look at what our deployment looks like in practice. Our deployments within Ascend give us a high-level overview of everything that's happening within that deployment, every pipeline run, every error, every component that's run. I can see recent runs and even components within those runs that have processed data. One of the things that I mentioned earlier is how Ascend's intelligent automation automatically optimizes our workflows as they go through, as that data is processed. So you can see that in action here. We had over 4,000 components run in the past 24 hours, but only a very small number of those partitions needed to be reprocessed based on either changes to the data or changes to the code itself. And so as a result, we've saved a lot of time and money on our reprocessing. Let's look at a recent run. Here we can see a full history of all of our runs. All of this data lives in your data plane of choice, Snowflake, BigQuery, Databricks, so you have complete access to it. But it also gives you really easy access to see really detailed summaries of what's going on within your data pipelines, even down to specific component levels and how those have performed over time. One thing that I find especially helpful is to look at recent errors that have happened and try to understand what happened. Oftentimes when we look at errors in our data engineering workflows, we come up with logs that are not very helpful. But with their handy AI agent Otto has complete access to all of our metadata and can understand and summarize what's happening within our data pipelines, give us possible causes and next steps without me ever having to leave the platform. So that's a high-level overview of what Ascend is and how developers and data teams work within Ascend. If you have any more questions, we'd absolutely love to answer them for you. Feel free to reach out at data/eng@ascend.io. Have a great day.